He asks, are breakfast shakes necessary, such as like your Weetabix ones or protein shakes, whatever it may be? Now, it depends. So I'd ask you, are you having it because you feel like it's necessary? Because there's the thing, breakfast isn't necessary. A lot of people think it is, but it's actually not, and it can be an inconvenience. So if you're someone who wakes up, you're hungry, then obviously have breakfast. If you wake up, you don't have much of an appetite, but you're forcing calories down because someone's told you it's necessary, then I'd probably advise not to. And therefore, if you're forcibly having shakes or, Belvita breakfast biscuits or whatever it may be, just for the sake of eating, I'd probably advise not. However, if you do wake up, you're pretty hungry, however, you don't have time to eat, then yeah, sure, liquid calories are a great alternative. But again, breakfast, it's not 100% necessary, it's the overall day. How many calories are you getting in by the end of each day, whether that's 2 p.m, 6 a.m, whatever it may be. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that important. Get your total calories in, hit your protein, whatever time that suits you, you're good to go. Okay, so Emma asks, fasted cardio, is it necessary? Absolutely not, okay? Fasted cardio is not as beneficial as people think. Now, the theory goes, the fact that you are fasted, there's no food in your stomach, blood sugar's low, you're more likely to tap into fat stores as a fuel source. Now, in the short term, yes, in that small little window, you are burning fat. However, it's not subcutaneous fat, which is the one we're after. It's something called intracellular muscular fat. So it's not even the fat that we're actually trying to target. Not only that, but at the end of the day, your energy balance is still the same. Whether you do fasted cardio and then eat your calories after, or have breakfast, cardio midday, eat the remainder of your calories after, energy balance is still the same. And in many studies, they've even proven this. There is no difference whether you do fed cardio or fasted cardio. And in the real world, this can be a massive inconvenience because if you're someone who prefers to do fasted cardio, well then yeah, great, I'm not going to say stop. However, if you're someone who's been told you have to wake up, skip breakfast, go to the gym, do cardio, and you've got no energy, you're very hungry when you wake up, then yeah, fasted cardio is probably not for you. Likewise, let's say your schedule only allows you to do cardio midday. There is no way you're going to go all that time without eating and then go and do cardio. Just eat, do your cardio, you'll be fine. Again, it's total energy balance. Okay, so Sharon asks, should I track calories or macros? Okay, so here's the thing. You can do either. Now, if you were to track macros, you'd be tracking calories by default because calories actually come from macros. Now, if you don't know what macros is a short term for macronutrients. So we're talking carbs, fat, protein. Now, for each single gram of fat is 9 calories. A single gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories. A single gram of protein is also 4 calories. So if you just imagine I've got a food that's got 10 grams of carbs, 10 grams of protein, times that by 4 grams each, 80 calories. So you can either track the total calories or the macros. By doing the macros, you're going to track calories by default. However, that is massively unnecessary. The only two numbers you really need to be concerned of for body composition is total calories and protein. So there's actually been studies done on this where you've got two isocaloric groups. Now, isocaloric means equal calories. So you've got both groups, equal calories, equal protein, equal protein. However, one is high carb, low fat, the other is high fat, low carb. And there was zero difference, meaning, again, the two most important numbers is total calories and protein. So, in a practical sense, I'd only recommend that you manage to get your protein in and then fill the rest of your calories from either carb or fat. Again, that's completely up to you. But it would make sense on a training day to get more carbs versus fat because obviously glucose is our main energy source when we want to train. Likewise, on a rest day, I'd switch for a higher fat and a lower carb approach. The difference is so little, I really wouldn't stress about it. Get your calories in, get your protein, and you'll be fine. Okay, so Jordan asks, should I do high reps for fat loss? So this is very common. When people transition into a fat loss phase, they tend to ditch all the weight training they've done, or at least the way they were doing it, and they then opt for high reps and low weight. And in my opinion, this is a huge mistake. First of all, it's a huge myth that you need to do high reps, low weight to burn fat. Again, your fat burning comes from your diet and basically being in a calorie deficit. Now, the weight training side of things, you want to maintain as much weight as you can to give your body a reason to want to hold on to that muscle, okay? If you're, say, bench pressing 60 kilogram on your bulking or regular weight training phase. You then transition to a fat loss phase and you think, I'll half the weight but do more reps. So now you're only doing 30 kilogram. You're not really giving the body much reason to want to hold on to that size in order to gain, in order to maintain its strength to lift a 60k it was previously used to. Keep your weight training the exact same, whether you're cutting, bulking, maintaining, keep your weight training the same. Try always opt for, being as strong as you can in the weight room within reason. As your diet and strength is going to diminish, that's just the way it is. There's not much we can do about that. But always try to lift as heavy as you can within a safe range, before your form starts to break down a little bit. But what I'm saying is purposely halving your weight and going super light and doing 30, 40, 50 reps, thinking that's going to burn fat, is a huge mistake. You're going to pretty much lose a lot of the muscle mass that you've worked so hard for in your gaining phase. All right, so Zach asks, best rep range. So this leads on nicely from our previous question. So rep range. So for the longest time, there's been this notion that we kind of have like a pyramid of reps. So 15 to 20 reps is your endurance rep range. On top of that, 10 to 12 is your like hypertrophy rep range. 6 to 8 is your kind of power rep range. And 1 to 5 is your strength rep range. Now, each has its place, and there's been huge emphasis on which one's best for muscle growth. Now, in a recent study by Brad Schofield, I think that's how you pronounce his name, they kind of diminished this, and as long as intensity and effort is there, how many reps you do for muscle gain isn't super important, as much as we thought it was anyway. So whether you do 1 to 5, 6 to 8, 10 to 12, as long as you're training hard and that last rep is pretty intense, you're pretty much going to get the same result. Now in this study, the way they done it, they got 9 groups. One group did between 10 to 15 reps, the other group did 1 to 5, and what they found was that muscle growth was pretty much the same. However, the 1 to 5 did gain a little bit of strength, obviously because they're touching their close to 1 rep max. But if your goal is muscle growth, don't be overthinking the rep range. Should I do 10? Should I do 12? Should I do 15? In my opinion, I like to have a good mix of both. So a couple of exercises, specifically my compound ones like bench press, squat, deadlift, etc., multi-joint movements, I like to do quite lower rep, higher weights, such as 1 to 5 or 3 to 5, whatever it may be, to kind of give my body that stress in order to get stronger. However, when it comes to an isolation movement, such as like a bicep curl, a pec deck, whatever it may be, then I'll play with more higher reps. So I might do 10 to 12, 12 to 15. But along my workout, I have a good variety. Some exercises are 1 to 5, some are 6 to 8, some are 10 to 12. Do not overthink it, yeah? The difference that 10 to 12 is going to make versus 12 to 15, again, it's not going to make a big difference. Just make sure that you're training hard, you're training frequently, you're pushing yourself, your form's really good, and you're not losing too much technique. So again, a good balance of everything really.